Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Podium or Walls Season 5, All Shake, No Break! We're coming to you with a little bit of a fun one today. Everyone can relax.
That's right, we got Silly Week going on, Lime Rock. We are racing tonight in stock cars. Nothing serious about this, no points, what have you. The points don't count. We've got some very fun paint jobs, as you can see. Should be a very interesting race tonight.
Yep. The theme of this week is fun. We'd like to welcome you all to the All-Star round here, the first of its kind for Podium or Wall. And what that means is basically, one lucky competitor got to choose the course and the cars for this week because they didn't get to choose a track for the regular season. So they get to decide what we're doing today, and it was Captain Crash, and he's decided for the first race we'll be going out in some mini stocks. The grid has never driven anything like this before. A stock car on a road course should be a new experience for them.
Yeah, and I can tell you, we were watching the practice session, and a bunch of these guys brought out their NASCAR tuning. It was slippery and slidey, I'll tell you what. But all these guys got it all straightened up. They're all on a road race tune, and let's see what they can do as they start to roll on the pace lap.
Yeah, and to elaborate on that, it was a bit comical. As, Gold Striker was out there lapping with the road setup, and everyone else was out there on oval setups. And it didn't quite work out for them. Gold Striker had breaking off to a, 2-second gap pace difference in the practice sessions, and, he had the kindness in his heart to ask the rest of the grid, are you guys on the right setup? So luckily all racers are now on a proper setup for some road racing.
Minor technical difficulties, nothing to mind there.
We should be all right.
Bumper of the pace car.
Yep, and we're at Lime Rock. No chicanes here. An iconic course, the classic version of the track with the super iconic uphill turn. I don't know if it actually counts as a turn, but it's between 4 and 5, and you can sometimes, right here, catch some air if you're going fast enough in a certain car. I don't know if these cars will. We'll have to see.
Yep, no, it's a scary corner. You crest the hill and it flattens out quick, and if you're still on the gas, you are praying you stay straight. This track's got a lot of flow to it. It's one of those ones where patience is key, and the longer you wait, the faster your exit speed.
Yeah, that's right, especially when you're coming around, the first sector of the course, I'd say, is what really determines your lap time. You've got, almost a double apex turn into 1 and 2, and then you've got to have so much patience onto 3 to get the right angle for 4 so you can have the most speed coming onto that uphill leg segment into turn 5, and that really determines the rest of your lap there. As we come across the green light here, they've getting started, and we've already got an incident. That's Captain Crash crashing. It should be noted, damage is off for this week only, so we might see a little bit more trading paint here, and we've already gotten Captain Crash crashing.
Yeah, it's the first incident. I'm sure there's going to be many more.
You can just hear the patience there they have to have on the throttle, especially on cold tires. Rock Lee not even able to go all the way with it. And of course, they're in the traffic here, so you got to make sure not to bump uglies. As we see Mr. Schwung there heading towards the uphill. Looks like Jeff Platt will make a pass there. He's up into second. Race car still in the lead here.
Ooh, bit of an incident.
Going a bit wide. We're on board with Rock Lee. Just hear that sputtering of the engine. Oh, and he's able to save it. What a save. Rock Lee. He's getting passed by everyone, but he's still going.
All right, so after the first lap, we've got Race Car still holding up the lead. Jeff Platt is in second, followed by Mr. Schwung.
That's Gold Striker going wide there.
Ooh. Gold Striker
and some more smoke and burning rubber there. Looks like some chaos happening out in the field here. Oh, he's getting a little squirrely, the race car. One of the problems with these cars, if you throttle it too soon, that's going to happen. Oh, and the return favor. That's a double T-bone. Wow, hopefully they can get along here.
Captain Crash and Gold Striker have snuck by. They're still racing. They're still.
Oh, a third T-Bone has hit the building. Oh my goodness, those two are just not getting along.
What makes you think, did somebody stick some magnets in their bumpers? Because those two are stuck together.
Yep. A lover's quarrel, if I've ever seen one.
He's going to make a move. Here you go, Pavant Guard on the inside. Everyone's locking up a little bit. I'm bumping.
And you can afford to do that in these cars, but also with no damage on, especially. You don't really have to worry about that.
Yeah, and Pavant Guard's he's gonna make it stick, followed by Mr. Schwung. Those two will be the next two duking it out for first place. And Race Car's now in third, with the Cuban Missile hot behind him in the Thomas the Tank Engine livery. You love that.
Yeah, we've kind of got the lead group of 4 here. Pretty damn tight, led by Pavant Guard, Mr. Schwung in second, Race Car in third, and Cuban Missile just outside the podium spot right now, looking to make something happen. But it's those 4, and then you see Captain Crash recovering from that turn 1 incident. He's up into 5th now, trying to catch up to this main group. Looks like the Race Car is going to have a big crash there. Still drop back. He should get going there, though. That's a durable car if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, these ones can take a licking and keep on ticking. These cars, as we lock up there with Pavant Guard, he's going to pay for it. Mr. Schwung's taking the lead here as we come around turns 1 and 2.
Mr. Schwung up into the top spot, followed by Pavant Guard losing the lead there. Cuban Missile's up into 3rd, of course, with the Race Car crash, and that'll move Captain Crash up into 4th, looking to jump onto this podium trio right now. You see there, he's not so far behind.
Oh, Mr. Schwung throwing it in there. Gotta love that. This turn 5 with the uphill, there's a lot of traction until there isn't. You're on top of it, and if you're still sideways, there's a bunch of tires to catch you, but they are not forgiving.
Yeah, and having driven the course, some drivers, I believe, have a philosophy. If you're coming around this turn, as you see Gold Striker there with the flames coming out of his car, I believe he's actually dropping it into 3rd gear there to try to get the max acceleration coming into 4th from the top of 3rd. As you can see him just escape the wrath of the Race Car there. Excellent dodge as we see Pavant Guard go wide from P1. Looks like he got a bit aggressive into turn 1. There's some exciting stuff. But yeah, it looks like on that last turn there, turn 7, some racers opting to go into 3rd, some are opting to keep it into 4th. We'll see which tactic plays out better. A 4th probably offers more stability, but if you drop down to 3rd, you might get a little more in terms of acceleration.
Watching this race so far, I'd say tonight's memo is whatever you can do to stay on track will be the fastest thing possible, as many cars have slipped around, split off the course, and paid for it dearly.
Yeah, and coming up that uphill there, we see, a lot of cars get squirrely at the top of that. It's really crazy. When you get to the top of that, if you hold your steering wheel straight, your car is going to drift to the right, and if you don't do anything, you're going to head straight into the wall. So what you might see a lot of these racers doing is yanking the wheel to the left at the top of the uphill there to keep the car straight. As we see, that's what exactly happened there with Jeff Blatty. He kept the wheel straight, and it took him to the right. Right into the tires. Gold Striker putting down the fastest lap. Can he make his way back into the pack? He's got about 14 seconds to the lead group. Almost certainly would have to require a mistake on someone's part. Pavant Guard still holding on to 3rd after that incident to turn 1 a couple laps ago. We hear these babies purr. They sound pretty sweet. Whoa!
Bit of an incident between the Cuban Missile and Pavant Guard. They've lost some speed as Captain Crash is charging into the backfield.
Captain Crash all of a sudden is not only in the picture, he's up into P3. Pavant Guard with some more woes. Hold on there, Race Car. Keep it steady. Hold on to it. Reel it in. Oh, he just can't manage to reel it in. He didn't crash into the wall. And that's probably the best outcome you could hope for. Pavant Guard pushing up the inside of Captain Crash. Captain Crash, though, he has the exit speed, but he won't on turn 2.
Now, looked like Captain
Whoa.
Crash had to bow out as Pavant Guard holds on to P2 and the inside line. He's got a bit of space. Captain Crash may have made quite a mistake and lost some time.
Yeah, he was there in turn 2, and then all of a sudden you come to turn 3 and you look at Pavant Guard and he's nowhere to be found. So a bit of a mistake there on turn 2 for Captain Crash. Not large enough to take him out of contention, but large enough to take him out of the podium, at least for a lap or two.
You know, and don't forget about Gold Striker. He's now 4 seconds behind Captain Crash and Pavant Guard. He could be knocking at the door very soon.
I tell you what, he was, last time we mentioned his name, he is 14 seconds back from the lead group. If you consider Pavant Guard 2 seconds back from Cuban Missile and Captain Crash another 2 seconds to call, 5 seconds. Gold Striker's only 4.5 back from that, so he's gained about 5 seconds total on the lead group. There might be enough time for him to make it up into that grouping. Oh no, the race car. I believe he was about to have an incident there. But Jeff Plata, he just loves those tire barriers, I think.
He's getting real friendly with those tires there on the right.
I think it might be one of these magnet situations you were mentioning. Yeah, they just have magnets.
Mm-hmm. You know, the forces, they just pull you in.
Cuban Missile, Mr. Schwung, a little 1-2 here. And the top 2 spot, Cuban Missile, of course, your championship leader so far with 4 race wins under his belt in the first 4 weeks of the season. Is he going to take a win here in the All-Star race, using all the track there? Purely for bragging rights here on the tables, we see Rock Lee and the race car have some fun in the back of the pack. Some pretty suspicious liveries with the front grille there. You know, Thomas the Tank Engine specifically.
He's got an interesting face on, that's for sure. Cuban Missile looked like he was trying to put a move on there at turn 1, but here he is, still following the bumper of Mr. Schwung.
Yeah, they're ass to ankles now.
Next couple corners. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, they're pushing.
There's some pretty good racing out of the 2 of them so far.
Love to see it. And again, these stock cars are not easy. They are slippery and quick to make you pay for a small mistake.
I tell you what, they're pretty difficult to drive on ovals where all you have to do is turn left. You take them on a road course and it's a whole another ball game, even with the different setups. You know, it's completely different to anything these guys have driven.
And you've seen it on a couple of these cars at turn 1. There's a bit of locking up going on, and there we see Pavant Guard go wide. Pavant Guard going wide. There's just not a lot of traction in these little stock cars. Yet
yeah, I tell you
what,
what,
threatening it past.
They look
Turn
pretty
1.
sick coming out around that last turn there. Some of them, the end steps out a little bit, and you just see them drift around a little bit, and it just makes for a pretty good show.
It's definitely a fun race. Some might say Silly Week is a great success. Oh!
Not a great success for Mr. Schwung here in the closing laps, as he just goes a little bit off track, and that's all it takes for him to drop out of first place. He's getting back on track here. Looks like Gold Striker will move up into the 3rd spot. And all of a sudden, he's kind of in that leaders grouping. Race car here. Oh! That was a pretty tough hit.
That was a big hit, and that was on the back straight. That's where you want to be carrying as much speed as possible.
Avant Garde and Mr. Schwung.
Oh!
Oh! Got the onboard there. He's still keeping it straight. I mean, you know, that was a pretty close call there for him.
Look at this. Cuban Missile's leading the lap, but Captain Crash is only a second behind, and Gold Striker's not too far back. Oh!
Oh, geez, that tire barrier has collected a number of victims tonight, I believe. Mr. Schwung being the most recent addition to that list. You see the 2-man race for the lead now is Cuban Missile in first and Captain Crash right behind him. Gold Striker still with the fastest lap, looking to make his presence known. Not sure if there's going to be enough time for him if everything continues as such. We'll keep it looking here at the top 2. Number 15, the Cuban Missile, and number 12 of Captain Crash. Look at how squirrely he's getting through there. Yeah, that's for sure. You have to wonder if the tire wear could be an issue. Yeah, you have to wonder if tire wear could be an issue at this point in the race. A lot of these racers are pushing it pretty hard, burning some rubber.
You're coming down. I think this might be the last 2 laps here. As this
you have to be careful about that one always. You know, we'll see if we can catch the guy waving the white flag and be sure.
You're right. You're right.
Because there's a pace lap, so there is always that added. It looks like the guy who waves the flag is under a hut, so we might not be able to see. I can tell you, though, there might be some sweet crashes right after the checkered flag, and we will see a graphic in the top left corner. So we'll hold our breath until then. Cuban Missile getting a bit of a higher lead here, almost stretching it out to a second and a half as they approach some lapped traffic.
And you may have noticed Cuban Missile in the lead, but Captain Crash has fallen well behind, as well as Gold Striker after making a mistake at turn 1.
Kind of seems like both of them made a mistake.
I think they did. They both, paid the penalty as well. 3 seconds between Cuban Missile and Captain Crash, as he is chasing the bumper of Jeff Plata.
Jeff Plata, lap down. Will he add some interesting... he could make anything happen. We've seen blue flag cars influence races before, quite recently actually, involving one of these two racers, but it won't happen this time. Jeff Plata going a bit wide into the grass, maybe just to let him pass. Maybe he's just stopping to smell the fresh cut grass. Oh, he gets in front of the Gold Striker there a little bit. Just making sure to get every last row of grass, cannot leave anything unclipped. Gold Striker finding himself in a podium position at this point. As Jeff Plata tackles the uphill. Let's see it again. Woo! He just loves that wall. I think he's just putting on a show for the audience here at this point.
It is silly week. The points don't matter. And it does look like these guys are having a pretty fun time, whether they keep it on the track or off the track.
I say, if you have a magically healing car, you got to put it to the barrier at least once, right?
Yep. You got to test it, right? It's magic.
Rock Lee on the ass of Mr. Schwung here.
Rock Lee putting the pressure on thick as he takes the inside line down the final turn. And they both stick it.
Rock Lee moving up a spot there. Good move by him.
All right, Captain Crash has made up some time. He is back within a second of the Cuban Missile. It only takes one mistake, and either one of these guys could pay dearly and find themselves at the back of this heat.
As they come around the last turn here, can he get into the draft? That might be his only chance to gain a significant amount of time here as we see the race car there. He's having some fun down the back straight. I believe I saw a flag wave. We might be on the last lap here. Captain Crash did, in fact, get into the draft there as we see Cuban Missile holding on to the inside of turn 1. Captain Crash coming around turn 2, trying to hold on to that distance so that he can make a move here at some point. Oh, as you just hear those engines sputtering, struggling to keep up with the downshifts. He loses a little bit of time there. Let's see what happens.
Going quite wide there at turn 3 and 4. That was an interesting line, to say the least. Let's see if he can do a little catching up here at turn 5. Yeah, this one is super fun, and you may notice, guys, spinning off the top of the hill, Mr. Schwung locking up on turn 1.
Oh, he's around.
In a full spin.
On the last lap for him. As we come around the last turn here, Captain Crash not quite close enough to make a difference, I don't think so. We'll see Cuban Missile, your championship leader, come away with a win here in the All-Star race, followed by Captain Crash. Gold Striker, if he had a few more laps, he could have gotten back into the mix, but he'll take P3 for now. That's where he currently stands in the championship standings. As we see some shenanigans here on the back straight there. Look at him go around. Who is that back there? He's having fun. Gosh, he was so close to the finish line, whoever that is, as we see them trundle along.
This might be Pavant-Garde in reverse.
That's Pavant-Garde in reverse. That's quite a way to finish. That's for 4th place there. He still somehow got 4th, as we see Jeff Plata and Rock Lee across the finish line. Jeff Plata a lap down from Rock Lee, so Rock Lee will take 5th. And we have some fun.
Pavant-Garde
after
still practicing reverse.
Yeah. Some are saying he's considering switching to reverse drive full time. Anyways, what an exciting race here we've had for round 1 of the All-Star round here in Lime Rock. We'll be right back with round 2 of the All-Star round. That's right, we've got 2 races here for you on the same circuit. Lime Rock, no chicanes. This time, we're going to jump into the Porsche Cup car, quite similar to the GT3, but I tell you what, we could see some fun on the uphill considering they're a rear-engine car. They might go flying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you never know. But what a good time. Come back to see the Porsches go around Lime Rock.
Thank you for watching Podium or Wall Season 5. All shake, no break! This has been the All-Star Round, Round 1. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Podium or Wall Season 5. All shake, no break. We're coming to you with the second race of the All-Star Round, live from Lime Rock Park in Connecticut. No chicanes. We hate those chicanes. We're in the Porsche Cup this time, a considerable more amount of speed. How are we doing tonight? Are you excited for race number 2?
I'm very excited. Race number 2. Yeah, welcome back. We're still here at Lime Rock, and it is All-Star Week. We are having a lot of fun here. We've brought out some hot cars. We've got a Porsche Cup car. Lots more speed, lots more ability compared to that stock car. Let's see what these guys can do as we get the pace lap underway.
Oh, we got a little bit of lag there. Hopefully that fixes itself out, you know. I think something to mention here, the roster, a little sparse. We're down to 8 racers tonight, notably missing our Chimp and Trash Panda, who unfortunately did not meet the requirement for the All-Star Round, which is simply to race in 2 weeks. A bit unfortunate to see that. And then you will notice the absence of the Moldiver again this week. Unfortunately, experiencing some technical difficulties, not able to figure out how to configure his wheel.
Now, rumor had it is he lost his wheel, you know? But hopefully he's back next week. Love to see him on the track again soon.
And now I heard you mentioning before the race, you might have seen or witnessed, some, what you want to take that?
How do you say, walking around, there's, it's All-Star Weekend. People are here to have fun. There's a couple empty cases of beer back there on pit road.
Oh, my goodness.
Hopefully these guys can keep it on the track.
Yeah, we have called it time and time again a beer league, but not every night will people be drinking beer. Sometimes it'll be wine. Some participants preferring the wine, some people beer, some people, 420 ganj. But anyways, during All-Star Race, you can expect quite a few participants to be on a combination of substances. We're hearing from the paddock as the pace car goes into pit lane, and we're ready to go here on what should be a historic All-Star Race, the first of its kind, round number 2 in the Porsche Cup cars.
We go into turn 1. Everyone's playing nice so far. You love to see it. There's, look at that. No incidents, no accidents. Everyone is staying on track.
Look at that. But they are racing hard. And I tell you what, having come from the mini stocks, it almost looks like we're watching this replay in 2 times speed. That's how fast these cars are going compared to the mini stocks. And maybe it's how much more comfortable the drivers feel in it. They have driven this car before in some testing sessions. We should mention, coming up that straight between turn 4 and turn 5, you have the iconic uphill section of the track, and this being a rear-engine car, you may see some wheelies, you may see some people take flight.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I hope to see a couple big wheelies. Maybe we'll even see 4 whole wheels get off the track, as that is Avant-Garde's signature move.
You kind of see a sea of yellow up front there, with the exception of Mr. Schwung in 3rd place. You've got 3 taxi cabs in the top 3, being Jeff Plata, the race car, and Captain Crash. Mr. Schwung, though, ruining the party by sticking in 3rd place. We'd see a sea of yellow up in front if it were not for him. I shouldn't have said anything. Commentator curse. It's now a sea of yellow up front for the top 3 as Jeff Plata leads the pace car. The race car around. The race car will take it back as Jeff Plata dips a toe into the grass. It's race car for the lead. Jeff Plata in 2nd. Captain Crash in 3rd. Mr. Schwung dropping back to 4th.
These two battle it out in first and second place.
Oh my god, and they might go 3 wide here into turn 1, the next trio. In positions 4, 5, and 6, a bit of a blue car grouping there. So we seem to be color-coded here through the first couple of laps. Very nice for the broadcast booth. Beautiful in terms of a color gradient. You know, it's lovely to see out there.
When a big incident, just like that.
Jeff Plata
taking the lead.
Jeff Plata got into the rear quarter panel of the race car there. Race car, of course, leading the race, now in last place. He's probably slamming his fists onto that wheel. You know, it's still All-Star round, but you do want to have a good finish. You know, you've got a lot of fans watching. You want to make your case. We're trying to drive viewership to the sport, to the individual driver, so you still want to have a good showing here.
I heard guys, rumor mill has it that guys are trying to get sponsorship. We've been, what do you say, sending letters to Anheuser-Busch and other places, hopefully we get some free cases of beer sent to the pit lane.
Yeah.
Pavant Guard had the fastest lap last time around, but
that's
taking it.
That's a double commentator curse there. As soon as you mention him, he goes round. As we see Jeff Plata going around, the Rock Lee getting him, the Gold Striker getting into him, and the Mr. Schwung and Missile getting into them. That's practically the whole entire field involved in that shake-em-up. And after that, you've got Captain Crash out by a 5-second lead, with Rock Lee leading the group for 2 through 5. Mr. Schwung bringing up the rear of that group. My goodness. This has been an exciting All-Star race so far.
You know, I love coming out to Lime Rock. It's only a mile and a half around, but it's a very technical course. And these guys are showing us just how tricky it can be. As we watch Gold Striker push the inside. Oh, God.
Rock Lee able to hold him off. That's not so often you see someone challenge Gold Striker when he's on the inside like that. Very good move by Rock Lee, showing a good bit of confidence in his pace there. And, you know, you were mentioning a couple drivers seeking out sponsorships specifically from alcohol companies and the such. Well, you know, they have found it difficult as you see some wheelies there. But we've heard complaints from the potential sponsors that the product on track is not exactly inspiring in terms of sponsoring, you know, promoting their beverages. In fact, they're not so pleased that we're drinking and driving at all as we see the race car go wide here, but avoid the tire barrier for now.
Here we are back up to the front. We watch Gold Striker and the Cuban Missile chasing down Rock Lee. Gotta love to watch these Porsche Cup cars. Compared to the stock cars, they are darting around this track. Just a lot more pace in the race tonight.
Oh my God!
Gets wide.
Dude, he nearly avoided the tire barrier there. As you see a little double shake him up there. We'll see what happened there. Oh, as we see Gold Striker not able to keep control of it. He's facing the wrong direction there as we just cut off of him right before a spin. Gold Striker down into 7th. Pavant Guard here up into 5th, looking to make a move on Mr. Strong. He'll have a good draft down the straight. Forced to go up the outside. Will he have the speed? Captain Crash here.
Crash all by himself.
Oh no. He spins around. He should have time here to rejoin. He does not. He blocks the Rock Lee. That's a pretty good move. If you can say, oh, nope, he's facing the wrong way. Actually, that was a that was something.
Pretty costly mistake by Captain Crash. Again, racing all by his lonesome. Self-inflicted wounds. We hate to see him.
Kind of looked like a good move there. He rejoined the course right in time to block Rock Lee. That's a quick way around the course there from Pavant Guard. He's still going fine. Incredible stuff here in the All-Star race. This is almost like watching a Globetrotters race, you know, a version of the Globetrotters for Podium or Wall. This is chaotic and entertaining, I do have to say.
How do you say, the Invincible cars is really helping out as no one has to pay for their incidents, and I think everyone's still on the lead lap, still, you know, within a second or two of the guy in front of them.
And you know what? Credit where credit's due. Podium Wall has raced Lime Rock in damn near every season, so they're familiar with the track. However, they've always raced on a version with either the first chicane or the second chicane, but never the classic version with no chicanes. And, you know, Captain Crash, he was unfortunately in last place here on his home track, deciding to race the classic version with no chicanes, potentially illuminating the eyes of the rest of the racers in the group as to what a fun track this can be, specifically that uphill turn, as you see Gold Striker barely able to hold on. He's throwing it around.
Lime Rock, the classic version, no chicanes. It's got a real flow to it as the race car gets wild.
Captain Crash seemingly not seeing it at all, not reacting. Captain Crash is going to be sent flying by the race car. The two back-of-the-pack guys creating some entertainment here.
You know, it almost looked like Captain Crash didn't even lift.
I don't think he saw anything. I think, you know, a race car was just blending in with the rest of the track. You know, I will say I know Captain Crash personally, and he has dog shit eyesight. If he wasn't wearing his glasses, he might not have seen anything. As you see 2 wheels off the ground there from Avant-Garde. Can he get all 4 off the ground? He's known to do so, as we have seen back potentially, you know, exactly at the Sonoma race last season in the GR86. He did catch air and went right into the tire barrier. So we do want to see him catch air tonight. We do not want to see him into the tire barrier. So he finds himself in P3 here, with Cuban Missile now putting down the fastest lap in P2. Rock Lee finding himself in first place. Rock Lee in the Cuban Missile here. Fun fact, they are the league's closest matched rivalry. They share 41 starts together, and the Cuban Missile has the advantage at 21 wins head-to-head to 20. So, can Rock Lee even it up tonight? And will he get a win here finally in All-Star Weekend? Rock Lee, a fan favorite, but missing out on having a top finish. Will he find it in All-Star Week?
Jeff Platt in the Vegemite car getting a little bit wide as he comes around the penultimate turn. And here we go, back to the Cuban Missile hunting Rock Lee in first place. And he tightened up the gap.
Cuban Missile, he is right on Rock Lee's bumpers. We see the race car take it extremely wide. He's going right into the tire barrier, and Captain Crash is going right into the race car. It's deja vu! My goodness. Oh, they're getting things settled here. Captain Crash trying to get it going here. Looks like he might have still had it in first gear as he looked to be driving it into the wall. He might be one of the racers we've heard from earlier with a case or two. You know, they might have gone after it before the race.
Definitely saw an empty case outside his pit.
Avant-Garde taking the wrong two. He's taking the wrong 2 wheels off the track as we see his right wheels leave the track. God, it's like they're racing on the moon here, especially with Avant-Garde. He just can't seem to keep 4 tires on the ground.
There we go. Cuban Missile is on the bumper of Rock Lee. He really wants that first place. He wants to edge out Rock Lee and make this a 22-20 as far as their overall racing goes as he gets awful close.
I mean, we're talking about 2 people here who know each other extremely well. You'd have to think they would race cleanly between them, given their close relationship. They're great friends in real life, as we see Jeff Latigo around here. But we stick it with Cuban Missile going right with Rock Lee. Of course, last week, you know, the last week of the regular season, we saw the Cuban Missile get a little hot-headed at a perceived incident with the Moldiver, and he ended up costing Rock Lee a position. I've heard they've had chats in real life about it. The Cuban Missile has apologized profusely, but the Rock Lee is still a bit miffed about that. Your thoughts about what we saw last week?
You know, it's, you don't like to see vengeance on the course, but as long as we can keep it off the track and everyone's having a good time, no harm, no foul. We'll see. Maybe Rock Lee makes him pay for it as Cuban Missile gets squirrely and Avant-Garde's in second.
I tend to agree with that sentiment as we see the Cuban Missile going for style over speed there as he does a little drift into a wheelie. That's good stuff, but he does lose the spot to Avant-Garde in second. Rock Lee still in first as the Cuban Missile not able to hold on to it, getting a little too much of the curb there. He'll lose the third spot, but Avant-Garde is going to gas it out too quick, not having the grip on the front tires. He's going to lose it on the front straight. That puts Rock Lee in first by a large margin. Mr. Schwung up into second. Gold Striker passing Avant-Garde up into third. My goodness, we're nearing the end of the race here, and we just saw some crazy pardon my language, we just saw some crazy shit happen.
Dude, what a shake 'em up. Second and third place, taking themselves out, self-inflicted wounds, and just like that, Mr. Schwung's up into second, Gold Striker in third, and there's only a minute or two left in this race. Unbelievable.
You know, the common sentiment coming into the race weekend was that in the mini stocks, if you could just survive, you're going to have a good finish. Well, that proves to be even more the case here in the Porsche Cup cars as we see positions 2 and 3 just absolutely obliterating themselves, allowing Mr. Schwung and Goldstriker to find themselves in podium positions.
Missile here, still with the fastest lap, but finding himself in 5th place. Again, a small accident. Oh, a big accident!
Big accident! Oh my goodness.
He lost his spot at second, but my God.
What is going on tonight? It's the commentator curse is especially bad tonight. It seems like as soon as we mention someone, they have a 50% chance to have an accident. As we're on board with Goldstriker here, hopefully he can avoid the curse. There's some of these yellow cars we see at the back of the pack. Of course, for the first few laps, these yellow cars were leading the race. And I think now, you know, position 6 through 8, we're finding those yellow cars. There's Goldstriker putting it up the inside of Mr. Schwung on the uphill. That's a pretty crazy move. You got to have big balls there to pass on the uphill because there's a chance your car leaves the track if you're going side by side. Oh, no!
Oh, no. Mr. Schwung paying for it dearly on the final turn.
Another obliteration of oneself. Mr. Schwung in P3 finding the wall. You know, we do name it podium or wall for a reason, and I believe we're just seeing a lot of people choose wall tonight.
We see Rock Lee passing Captain Crash, who's definitely a lap down in last place.
Yep. I see some wheelies there in the background.
Yeah, right. And I see a blue flag respected as Rock Lee gets to go on. Concord is not out of this race. He's in 3rd place, chasing up, a little bit wide there, but he's still chasing Goldstriker. We've seen multiple incidents and accidents. All it takes is one mistake, and you could find yourself up a spot or 3.
Rock Lee looking to have a solid lead here going into the final lap or two at Lime Rock as we see race car go around in P7. He'll hold Rock Lee up, but Rock Lee will get around, but Jeff Latta, he'll get around as well into the tire barrier on turn number 6, the penultimate turn. So many times we've seen these yellow cars drift into the barrier there, and this particular spot of the map, the yellow cars are just... they're just crashing every lap at damn near. As you see, Goldstriker might have gotten 4 tires off the ground there in the background. We see some ollies there potentially. Goldstriker keeping it on track while the race car goes wide. Very good, fortunate for Goldstriker to get around there.
We've seen, lots of incidents, lots of accidents. The yellow car's been having a rough night as Goldstriker chases down Captain Crash a lap down.
And we did catch
Avant-Garde in the race car.
We did catch
into it in turn 1.
We caught a glimpse of the white flag there, so this would be the last time around the course for these folks. Goldstriker behind Captain Crash, who's a lap down. So it looks like Rock Lee, barring incident, barring tragedy, will take it home for the All-Star Race Week 2. While not an official race, that's got to feel good for Rock Lee, who's not found himself in the top spot here. Finding himself in the top spot here in the All-Star Race. Let's give it up for Rock Lee, the fan favorite. Captain Crash there, taking it around the outside pretty hot. I think he's doing a little bit of a wall ride strat there. Goldstriker coming across in second. Captain Crash a lap down. He'll finish in 7th. As we see Avant-Garde there spinning it. Nope. Who are we even watching? There's Mr. Schwung in 3rd. Avant-Garde in 4th. I'm not sure who we saw spin around there, but there's chaos down to the last second here in the All-Star race. We're just trying to make it entertaining for folks at home. You know, on that last lap, if you're, not fighting for position, you might as well just throw it into the wall. You know, if you've got an invincible car and you don't run it straight into the barrier, what are you doing?
In past weeks, I forget where we were, but there was a hill right past the start-finish line, and we watched as multiple drivers opted to jump the hill. And, we just love to put on a show here. At Podium or Wall, you see Rock Lee strike a Park Jeff Plata. Oh, my God.
Someone spinning in the background. Yep, a little bit of post-race incidents here. All in good fun, though. You love to see it in the All-Star race specifically. Normally, we discourage that sort of action. But, we see Rock Lee coming away with a win here. Gold Striker finding himself on the podium in 2 races. Well, what are you looking forward to seeing here in the second half of the season as we come off of the All-Star race?
Again, real excited for the second half. There's been a lot of fighting in the middle of the pack. We've got a bunch of guys fighting it for fourth.
What a shot here! Beautiful shot by our camera person. Let's just keep it here.
Got the gnome. The gnome knows.
As you were saying, I'm also pretty excited for the second half of the season. We'll see if Cuban Missile can continue his dominance, if he can continue winning races. The Mole Diver, also, he's come away with 3 races while missing 2 races in the first half, so he's definitely someone to look out for. But, we saw a record high number of incidents here in the All-Star race. Probably can attribute that to the no damage clause, but we do hope to see some cleaner racing in the second half here. Anything to say about the the continued incidents, anything like that?
Again, you don't want to see vengeful maneuvers on track, but as long as everyone's having a fun time, we're having fun out here. You can't take it personally. It's just racing. Rubbing is racing, and my suggestion, just forget about last week and race tonight. So hopefully these guys have a real fun time in the second half. Would love to see us shake them up. Again, a bunch of drivers have been doing real well. Some small trouble. Self-inflicted wounds. You've seen Gold Striker take himself out. Captain Crash many times take himself out. Pavant Guard's had some real good racing. He hasn't quite found the podium yet. Let's see if in the second half some of these guys can break out of their shell and take some real points and challenge Cuban Missile for first place.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The Cuban Missile has not found himself at the top of the league here yet, so he's trying to get his first championship here. Mole Diver and Gold Striker obviously are 2 previous championship winners, nipping at his heels, but beyond that, the rest of the group is pretty tightly wound, probably more so than ever here. Every position potentially up for grabs, depending on what happens in the races to come. But we hope you will join us for that. This has been Podium or Wall All-Star Round for Season 5. All shake, no break. We hope you join us again, and thank you so much for watching.